Hey, what's up people? I'm out here in the woods enjoying the very nice weather that we have these days, and today I want to talk about a very specific knife in my knife collection, the cold steel Voyager Tanto Large. Now, why is this a very specific knife? Well, this knife fits in a role in my knife collection that no other knife really fits in. This is my tough, dependable budget folder. Now, for most people, budget knives are obviously $50 and under. This is about 70 euros, which is not usually in that category of a budget knife, but I would say for a knife collector, this is a budget knife because we spend way more money on other knives. And I have plenty of strong knives in my collection, but most of them are way more expensive. And this one is my inexpensive tough folder, and therefore I can carry it on occasions that I wouldn't carry my more premium knives that are equally or more tough. So, for instance, if I go out and I'm not sure where I will end up that day, whether that be indoors or outdoors, whether we be in a bar or at a campfire, and I'm just not sure, can you bring a knife to this place? Can you, do you need it to cut cardboard or wood, or do you need it to pry? Do you need it to do stupid stuff that you normally shouldn't do with a knife? So that's the knife that I bring on these days because, well, I'm certainly not afraid of breaking it, or I'm also not afraid of losing it or it being taken away from me. So this is that kind of knife. And at the same time, despite having a lot of strength, it is a knife that cuts really well. Let's talk about the strength of this. Well, the triad lock, most people know about it. It's a very dependable locking system. It's very simplistic, meaning you can also handle it to people that are not that familiar with knives. So, and also at the same time, you're not worried that they are going to break it because it carries a lot of that strength throughout the blade. It's not a super thick blade, but it has a lot of material thickness all the way up here. These cold steel Tantos are very interesting because they are very robust in this section, but they get really fine up here. So you both have a fine point and a thick point if you need it. Good flat section here, you can use it for scraping or cutting, and then a very, very sharp secondary point that is obviously also very, very devastating in a self-defense situation. So you see where I'm going with this. This is the knife that if you don't know where you're gonna end up, you can depend on it in many different scenarios. Because it's a hollow ground blade, it also means that it is decently fine behind the edge. So this also cuts pretty well for such a robust knife. And sometimes you need robustness and cutting capability at the same time, and this is where this knife comes into play. I love the stonewash that they do on these Voyagers, always have. I like the AUS 10A steel. I think the 10A is the perfect steel for this knife. 10A is not a steel that is good in anything particular, but it's good in everything. It's a jack of all trades, if you will. It gets really, really sharp. It's decently tough at the cutting edge, so you're not gonna worry about breaking it too easily. It's very stainless, so that means if you sweat on it, or if you carry it in humid, salty environments, it's also not gonna rust that easily. Of course, it's not 100% stainless, but it's very, very good. The stonewash also kind of helps with protecting it, and yeah, it's very easy to resharpen at the same time. The plastic scales are super, super grippy, so even in wet and cold conditions, this does not go anywhere. Because they are so grippy, some might even say too grippy, I sanded down the area underneath the clip here to make it go in and out of my pockets a little bit easier and to not shred them completely within 5 minutes. So yeah, my knife is not perfectly centered at the moment. It used to be centered for years and years. Currently it is not. I'm not quite sure what the issue is here. I have tried to play around with the screws a little bit, loosen the screws, loosen the pivot, tightening everything up, taking it apart, cleaning it, which by the way is very, very simple. It's a super simple knife to take apart and clean. It doesn't need a lot of maintenance, which is also a great thing. So yeah, maybe if you have some suggestions about the blade centering, you can leave that in the comments down below. But I tried the usual stuff and it didn't really work that well, but we'll see. Maybe it does in the future. So yeah, the Voyager Tanto Large is a fantastic knife in my opinion. It is so good for the price. Sometimes I think about getting a fully serrated edge also, but I'm not the biggest fan of cold steel serrations, although, yeah, it depends what you use them for. The serrations are not that tough in my experience, so I like the plain edge because, yeah, this just gives me a good amount of cutting power and toughness at the same time. So it is a very unique knife in a sense for me in my collection, and I cannot really replace this with anything because there isn't anything on the market that you can replace this with. I even sold my cold steel Recon 1 Tantos for this knife because I like this one just more. I think it's tougher in a sense. It's more replaceable. Well, it's not really tougher, but I guess it's like it's a knife you're less worried about breaking because it's just so inexpensive. So yeah, I've always loved the Voyager series. I have plenty of them in all different blade shapes, but the Tanto is just unique. It's something that you don't have a lot of competitors on the market, and I certainly enjoy carrying this one. And if I lose it, break it, or it gets taken away from me, I would buy another one the next day because it's just so good. So yeah, this is the Voyager Tanto Large. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day, and maybe we see each other in another video.